What's up guys and gals, my name is Cole, and today we're going to be looking at my LEGO R34 Skyline GTR remote control thing, and basically we're going to be showing you guys how it works and how it goes together and all that sort of thing. So, as you can see, it looks very similar to my R34 Skyline GTR mock, but underneath it is entirely different. It is basically got a remote control chassis. Now where the remote control comes from is not from LEGO Power Functions, but from this thing called Circuit Cubes, which is actually a company that makes these little LEGO compatible motors, and typically I'm not a huge fan of LEGO compatible LEGO, but these guys make LEGO compatible motors, and basically they have this tiny little battery box you can see right here, and these two little motors that this kit in particular comes with, and they are super powerful. They work really well. They're a rechargeable battery box with Bluetooth control from an app, and so it's basically, you know, everything that you wish LEGO did, but that they haven't done. And so, because they're so tiny, they work really nicely in a car. And so I saw them in Serial's LEGO Workshop, or I think his channel's changed his name by now. So I saw them in his video originally, and I thought I could use some of those to make a motorized car, RC car. And basically that's what I've done. So I built a RC chassis, and then I built a R34 Skyline looking body on top of it. Now, obviously, it's not exactly like my R34 Skyline mock. It's not nearly as clean or as nice looking, because I figured that the R34 Skyline was a fairly large model, fairly tall, fairly wide and long. So I figured it would be easy enough to fit a battery box and all that inside them. It actually was rather tough to fit everything in there. So maybe next time we'll go for a bigger car like Dodge Demon, because this is kind of like what I'm going to call version 1, because it's not perfect at all. Not just the looks, there's some other stuff that's not perfect with it, with my design. So we'll go over all that in a minute. But basically, how it's controlled is basically you have your phone, you have the app on your phone, and using the app you can go back and forth and you can use the steering. Now the main flaws with it are that the body doesn't look very good. Obviously the front fenders are probably the worst part, although the front fenders are the one part that we can't really fix because of the massive turning radius. Now if you look under there, we have this big Technic turning assembly, and I can't really make that any smaller sadly because I don't really know how to do it, but if you guys have suggestions that would be very helpful, or maybe I can just keep messing with it until I come up with a better design. But this is the only design I have for now, and it's been kind of shrunken down after 6 versions or something, and this is the smallest version yet, so we'll see if we can come up with an even smaller one with a smaller turning radius where we can fit fenders or something similar to fenders at least. So then the second flaw would be that the rest of the body doesn't really look all that great. That's because I kind of got lazy halfway through the project and I just want to finish it, so I'll just slap on the rest of it. So maybe we could have done a little bit cleaner around the rear window and the sides, but I think it's pretty good for what we could have done, because I kind of wanted to finish up the model so I could make the video and not spend a lot of time working on the aesthetic bit, just to see if we could get a actual driving car. So that's why the body doesn't look perfect, so that could be fixed technically. And then it's not very fast. Now we could gear up if we had a bigger car to put them in. Obviously, as you can see here, there isn't a lot of space to do any gearing up. I can't really fit any larger gears in this section to do gearing up between the motor and the axle. So maybe if we build a bigger car, like I was saying, we can go for we can make it faster. I do sell more powerful motors. I did buy this high RPM motor thinking that it would work. It turns out it's more for just spinning things and not actually moving stuff around. So that didn't really work so well. But they do have a larger kind of midway motor, something more faster than the smaller ones and more torquey than the big one. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get that sometime, and maybe that'll make a faster car. And basically that's it for the flaws. There also is that there's no return to center steering, which makes it very awkward to drive. But once you drive for a bit, you kind of get used to it. So we'll show you some driving footage in a bit. You can skip ahead if you just want to see what that looks like. But basically, it's reasonably fun to drive. It could use a little bit of work. So basically, the steering system, I'll just explain how it works, is the motor hooked up to a belt system. This belt drive basically connects to a worm gear, which connects to the actual steering thing that moves back and forth. And so it's a bit of an overcomplicated system. Now the rubber belt system is a nice feature, considering that you can't over jam the steering system. If you turn all the way to one side, you can keep turning the motor because the rubber band will just spin around the pulley thing. And so that works quite nicely, although it doesn't return to center. And because of the worm gear, I can't make it return to center. So I have to come up with a better solution. Although, as you can see, with these Technic kind of lift arm things we're using for the center part of the steering system. So then the drive system is basically just the motor and the axle right next to it, and there's just a 1-to-1 gear ratio between them. And that is a very torquey car. As you can see, you can pull a lot, but it can't really go that fast. It's reasonably fast. It's fun to drive. Because of the weird steering system, it kind of helps that it doesn't go so fast. Even then, it would definitely just be better in general if it had a higher top speed, so in the next version, we'll probably add some gearing to make it go faster. Also, you can see we changed up the bodywork a little bit. The sides and the front are mostly the same. I've added a Time Attack rear wing, and basically maybe a little bit of different body kit stuff around, but there's nothing super different. But I don't know, I thought I'd point it out because it's one more thing to mention. So I guess that's basically it for the overview. Now we'll probably try and make a version 2 sometime in the future with a better steering system or a faster drivetrain, or maybe both. And when we'll do that, make another video about it, we'll probably use a bigger car shell for it. So maybe we'll use the Dodge Demon, which is a bigger car in general, so that might work better. Now obviously, building small cars isn't very easy with this, but I definitely would recommend it if you're trying to build larger Technic cars. For example, I own that Senna GTR set, so that might not be a bad idea to try and motorize that set with it. Another thing is big off-road trucks. Now, this is actually not my first Remote Control Speed Champions vehicle. I have built a Mercedes 6x6 a long time back. It was like my third video. Or built a Remote Control 6x6. And so I'm thinking about buying the Ford Bronco R in the Ford Bronco Speed Champion set and trying to motorize that because it's a lot bigger. I also have the Raptors and the trophy truck, so we might try with those ones. Even then, we have to come up with a better steering system that I think will hold up to more off-roady driving. So I recommend that if you can, get your hands on one of these, that you should, because they are very handy when it comes to building motorized Lego things. They're much handier than power functions and much handier than the new powered-up system. So you guys have any questions or ideas or stuff, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.
Bye.